The galaxy had always viewed Earth as little more than a backwater, insignificant planet, an anomaly in the vast expanse of the cosmos. To the galactic empires, humanity was a primitive species, no more than a fleeting curiosity, locked in an endless cycle of self-destructive war and barely scraping by technologically. The Carrack, the Zothran, and countless others had long since dismissed Earth as a forgotten world, a relic of an old universe no longer worth the effort of conquest. That was, until the war came. It started as a small skirmish at the edge of known space, a clash between two rival alien empires, bitter enemies who had been fighting over resources for centuries. The conflict, at first, seemed inconsequential, a battle among giants with Earth lying unnoticed in the distant corner of the Sol system. The warships of the Carrack and the Zothran clashed in deep space, their deadly weapons shaking the very fabric of reality. What neither side had counted on, however, was the unpredictable nature of the war's expansion. As the alien forces drew closer to Earth, their leaders assumed it would be nothing more than a quick landing, a few swift strikes to show their might and claim the resources of this insignificant world. It was just a matter of time before the humans would fall, their cities obliterated, their resistance crushed without a fight. The alien commanders sent their fleets, their most terrifying weapons, toward Earth with one singular purpose: to eradicate the last remnant of a dying, irrelevant species. The first attack came without warning. Humanity, as it always had, was caught off guard. Massive ships descended upon Earth's major cities, burning skyscrapers to the ground in a matter of minutes. The world's military, ill-prepared for such a sophisticated enemy, could do little but retreat in chaos. The battle raged for days, with the alien fleets overpowering Earth's defenses. But what the Carrack and Zothran had failed to anticipate was the one thing that had kept humanity alive through the ages: their unyielding will to survive. It wasn't the humans' technology, nor their military might, that had turned the tide. It was their ingenuity, their adaptability, their refusal to be crushed under the heel of an empire. As the first attacks devastated Earth cities, human soldiers, civilians, and scientists alike began to piece together something no alien species had ever thought possible: a counterattack. The key to humanity's survival was not in their ships or weapons, it was in their resourcefulness, their refusal to die in the face of overwhelming odds. They adapted alien technology with astounding speed, reverse engineering the advanced weaponry that had been used against them. Within weeks, the world's armies were no longer outmatched by the alien invaders. In fact, Earth's greatest strength was its unpredictability. The aliens had never faced an enemy that could learn and evolve so rapidly. In the heart of Earth's final stronghold, General Sarah Hunter watched the enemy's ships on the horizon, a grim smile creeping across her face. Earth's forces were preparing to launch their first full-scale counteroffensive, and they had something the invaders didn't expect: humanity's will to fight back. "General," her officer called, his voice filled with urgency, "the alien fleet has begun its final assault. The ships are moving into position." Sarah took one last look at the monitors, her mind already calculating the strategy. She knew it wasn't going to be easy. The Carrack fleet was far larger, and their weapons were devastating. But Earth had learned. They had adapted. And now, humanity would make it stand. "Ready our fleet," she said, her voice firm. "We're not going down without a fight. We'll show them just how wrong they are about us." As the countdown to battle began, Sarah's heart raced. The battle for humanity's survival was about to begin, and the galaxy would finally see what humans were capable of. What had been considered primitive, insignificant, and weak would prove itself to be the greatest strength the galaxy had ever known. The sound of alarm bells and flashing lights filled the command center of Earth's flagship, the Argonaut. General Sarah Hunter stood at the helm, her eyes locked onto the massive holographic map of the solar system. The alien fleet, once scattered, was now converging on Earth's defenses, its ships forming a deadly, impenetrable wall around their planet. Every alien race that had once considered humanity weak was now watching with bated breath, waiting for the final strike. But the humans weren't going down without a fight. In the span of weeks, Earth had developed weapons that were as advanced as the very ships attacking them. They had adapted, reverse-engineered alien technology, and now, the tide was about to turn. "General, all fleets are in position," Captain Riker reported, his voice steady but tinged with the anxiety that came with the uncertainty of war. "We've loaded the new energy disruptors and are ready to deploy. But the Carrack ships are unlike anything we've faced before. Their shields are nearly impenetrable." Sarah didn't hesitate. "We've trained for this. Trust our pilots, Captain. They're ready." The energy disruptors, developed by Earth's most brilliant minds, had the potential to pierce the Carrack shields. But they needed precision and coordination, and that would be the key. Humanity had already learned the value of improvisation and adaptability in this war. But now, they needed to execute a flawless attack, a well-timed strike that would change the course of the battle. "Divert all available resources to the disruptors," Sarah ordered, her tone commanding. "We're going to make them regret ever setting foot in this system." As she spoke, the first wave of alien ships entered Earth's orbit. Massive, monstrous vessels, with weapons capable of annihilating entire cities in a single strike, now hovered in the cold expanse of space, ready to take what they believed was theirs for the taking. But humanity had changed the rules of the game. The Argonaut, along with its allied ships, moved into formation. Earth's fleet, composed of ships that had once been simple, hastily retrofitted military vessels, now shone with an array of advanced technology. Human ingenuity had created weapons that not even the Carrack expected, energy disruptors that could tear through the Carrack's strongest shields, graviton bombs that would destabilize the very foundation of their ships. As Earth's fleet approached the Carrack ships, Sarah's pulse quickened. This was the moment that would decide everything. For centuries, humanity had been overlooked, ridiculed, and treated as nothing more than an insignificant species. But now, standing on the brink of annihilation, humanity was proving that it had something far more powerful than technology. It had the will to fight, to endure, and to fight back. "General," Lieutenant Markson interrupted, "the first wave is ready to engage. The disruptors are primed." "Do it," Sarah said, her voice unwavering. The energy disruptors fired first. Brilliant beams of concentrated energy shot through space, striking the Carrack ships with deadly accuracy. But the Carrack fleet, expecting nothing more than a single wave of attacks, were caught off guard. The first few blasts weakened their shields, but they quickly regrouped and retaliated with a fury. Earth's ships took evasive action as the Carrack unleashed a volley of fire. A wave of energy surged through space, striking one of Earth's smaller battle cruisers. The explosion that followed lit up the void, sending debris and twisted metal scattering in all directions. "Stay focused," Sarah shouted, her voice filled with determination. "We can't let them break our formation. Push forward." The Earth fleet held its ground, fighting back with all its might. The energy disruptors continued to tear through the Carrack defenses, and human fighters dove in and out of the chaos, striking the alien ships with pinpoint precision. The Carrack retaliated, but their attacks were now increasingly ineffective against Earth's resilient defense systems and advanced countermeasures. For every Carrack ship that fell, the humans pushed forward, their resolve unbreakable. This wasn't just about a battle, this was humanity's fight for survival, for their place in the universe. But the Carrack, now realizing they were not dealing with a primitive species, began to adapt. Their massive flagship, a floating fortress, shifted into a new battle strategy, moving with calculated precision. It fired enormous bursts of energy, attempting to break the human lines and cripple their fleet. "We need to focus on the flagship," Sarah barked. "Take down the heart of their fleet." Human fighters swarmed the flagship, their fighters ducking and weaving between enemy fire. Every human ship was a vital piece of the puzzle now. Each pilot, each soldier, understood the gravity of the mission. They were no longer fighting for their cities or their countries. They were fighting for the future of Earth, for the survival of every human left on this planet. With one final coordinated strike, Earth's fleet launched its graviton bombs, aiming directly at the Carrack flagship's core. The Carrack flagship's shields flickered and failed as the bombs struck their target, sending ripples of destruction through its hull. The flagship's immense structure shook as explosions tore through its innermost systems. "We did it," Lieutenant Markson said, his voice filled with relief. "The flagship's down." The Carrack fleet began to scatter, retreating in disarray. The once formidable invaders had been defeated, and Earth stood victorious. But as Sarah stood on the command bridge, she knew the war wasn't over. This victory was just the beginning. They had proven their strength, their ingenuity, and their resolve. And now, they would show the galaxy that humanity was no longer a species to be underestimated. The war had just begun, and humanity was ready to face whatever came next. The remnants of the Carrack fleet scattered into the dark void of space, their ships crippled or fleeing, their leaders humbled by the overwhelming force of humanity's unexpected retaliation. The once feared empire, which had decimated countless species, had met its match in humanity's sheer will to survive. Yet, as Earth's forces celebrated their victory, General Sarah Hunter knew that this battle, though decisive, was only a prelude to the galaxy's reaction. While the alien ships retreated, Sarah stood on the command deck of the Argonaut, staring out at the fractured space before her. Her mind was already turning to the future. The Carrack had failed to conquer Earth, but their defeat would ripple throughout the galaxy. She knew it wasn't just the Carrack they had to worry about. The universe was a vast and unpredictable place, filled with races that could not let their pride be wounded without retaliation. "General," Captain Riker's voice cut through her thoughts, his tone somber. "The Carrack fleet has sent a distress signal to their allies. They've promised reinforcements. The other empires will hear about this, and they will retaliate." Sarah turned to face him, her expression steely. "I know. They won't take this defeat lightly. But we've proven something today. We've shown them that we're not just another primitive species. We are human, and we're not going to go down without a fight." Riker nodded, but his concern was palpable. "We've destroyed their fleet, yes. But they'll come back. And next time, they'll come in greater numbers." Sarah didn't doubt him. But she also knew something that none of the alien empires had ever anticipated: humanity had learned. They had adapted, and now they had a new weapon: unity. Earth's forces had pulled together like never before, sharing knowledge, technology, and determination. Humanity wasn't just prepared for the Carrack now. They were preparing for every challenge that would come after. "Deploy the communications network," Sarah ordered, her voice hardening with resolve. "It's time the galaxy hears from us." Across the fleet, Earth's military stations began to broadcast a single message, one that would be sent to every corner of the galaxy. Every world, every empire, and every alien race would hear the same thing. The transmission flickered to life, showing Sarah in full military regalia, her face steady and unwavering. "This is General Sarah Hunter of the United Earth Fleet," she said, her voice firm, carrying across the stars. "The Carrack have been defeated. Their empire, once thought invincible, has fallen at the hands of humanity. We've shown them that Earth is not a species to be conquered. We will not be ruled. We will not bow to any empire, no matter how powerful. This is our message to every race in this galaxy: Earth will fight for its survival. And we will fight together." Her words echoed across the cosmos, reaching alien ships and their commanders, some far away, others still regrouping. But the message was clear. Earth was no longer a forgotten backwater. Humanity had shown its strength, and they were ready for whatever the galaxy had to throw at them. The next few days were a whirlwind of activity. Earth's forces began to rebuild, using the alien technology they had adapted to strengthen their fleets and fortify their defenses. But despite their victory, Sarah remained cautious. She knew that the Carrack weren't the only empire in the galaxy with a thirst for domination. The Zothran, the Agrians, the Xylothians, there were countless other races, each with their own goals, and none of them would forget the humiliation of the Carrack's defeat. Earth had drawn the line in the sand, and it was only a matter of time before someone else would come to challenge them. "General, we've received a transmission from the Zothran," Lieutenant Markson reported, his voice tense. They're responding to your broadcast. They say they'll pay their respects. Pay their respects? Sarah repeated with a wry smile. I suppose that's one way to phrase it. Prepare a diplomatic response. Let them know Earth is open to talks, but they'd better understand that our terms will be non-negotiable. Markson nodded and relayed the message. But deep down, Sarah knew the Zothran wouldn't be the only ones testing Earth's resolve. The galaxy was a ticking time bomb, and now, humanity stood in the center of it. Later that day, Sarah stood on the observation deck, looking out over the horizon of Earth. The planet, once on the verge of destruction, was slowly beginning to heal. The cities that had been obliterated were already under reconstruction, and the people, humanity, had proven their strength. But even in the silence of the moment, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that the peace they had fought for was temporary. The galaxy had noticed their victory, and there was no going back. As she gazed at the stars, Sarah made a promise to herself and to all of humanity: we will not be the prey. We will not be forgotten. We will be the ones who decide our fate. And just as the Earth had risen from the ashes of its enemies, so too would humanity rise to face the challenges of a galaxy that had finally taken notice. The months that followed were a whirlwind of activity and uncertainty. The defeat of the Carrack had sent shockwaves through the galaxy, and while Earth's forces celebrated their hard-won victory, a new, more dangerous reality was taking shape. The message General Sarah Hunter had sent to the galaxy resonated far beyond the Carrack, and now, Earth was at the center of attention. The galaxy had always dismissed humanity, assuming it would crumble under the weight of a more powerful enemy. But now, humanity had proven itself a formidable force, one that would not back down. Sarah sat in the war room of Earth's new command center, watching as holographic projections of various alien fleets appeared on the tactical map. The Carrack, though defeated, were only the first to feel humanity's wrath. Now, other empires, eager to prove their dominance, were beginning to make their move. The Zothran were the first to respond to the challenge, sending a fleet of warships into Earth's space in a show of force. We've received word from the Zothran, Lieutenant Markson reported, his voice tense as he examined the incoming transmission. They want to negotiate. They're offering a ceasefire and are willing to discuss terms. Sarah narrowed her eyes. The Zothran were known for their cold and calculating nature. They had little regard for human life, but their interest in negotiating meant one thing: they were worried. Worried about Earth's growing power, about humanity's ability to challenge their empire. Send them our terms, Sarah replied, her voice firm. Tell them we're open to discussions, but they need to understand that Earth won't be treated as a lesser species. They'll have to meet us on equal ground. No more tricks. No more games. The Zothran response was swift. They agreed to the terms, but Sarah knew this wasn't just about diplomacy. The Zothran were testing humanity's resolve, seeing if they could break Earth's newfound confidence. It was a dangerous game. The galaxy was about to find out just how far humanity was willing to go. As the negotiations continued, the message Earth had sent out to the galaxy resonated even further. One by one, alien empires began to shift their focus toward Earth. The Agrians, once thought to be distant allies of the Carrack, made their move, sending a series of covert missions into Earth's orbit. The Xylothians, a race known for their brutal conquest of smaller species, sent a fleet to Earth's outer defenses. In each of these encounters, humanity stood its ground. The Zothran's initial show of force was met with Earth's refusal to back down. The Agrians, after a tense standoff, quickly realized that Earth wasn't the weak, primitive species they had once thought. And the Xylothians, who had once crushed entire civilizations without a second thought, were stunned by humanity's resilience. "We've done it, General," Markson said one morning, his voice filled with awe as the final reports came in. "The Agrians have pulled back. The Zothran are agreeing to a long-term peace treaty. And the Xylothians, they've called off their attack. They're withdrawing their forces from Earth's space." Sarah allowed herself a rare moment of quiet satisfaction. The galaxy had watched, and humanity had shown them that they were no longer the prey. They were the predators, the ones who decided their own fate. No longer would Earth be dismissed as an insignificant, primitive world. Humanity had proven itself a force to be reckoned with. But even as she stood in the war room, the victory felt incomplete. The galaxy had seen Earth's strength, but it had also seen its vulnerability. Earth had repelled the Carrack, but it had come at a cost, losses in both soldiers and civilians that no one would forget. And there were still enemies out there, waiting, watching. The war had ended, for now. But Sarah knew this was just the beginning. The empires of the galaxy would never forget what had happened at the Sol system. Humanity had risen from the ashes, and the universe would never look at Earth the same way again. "We've won, but the galaxy is still watching us," Sarah said, her gaze hardening as she looked at the stars outside the command center. "We've shown them we won't back down. But now, we need to prove we're worthy of the future we've fought for." Her words resonated through the room. The galaxy had seen the strength of humanity, and now, humanity had to prove it was ready for the responsibility that came with that strength. And as the first fleet of Earth's warships sailed toward the stars, Sarah felt the weight of the galaxy's gaze upon her. But she wasn't afraid. Earth was ready for whatever challenge came next. Humanity had proven its place in the galaxy, and it wasn't going anywhere.